This is It Was a Thing on TV.
Spoiler number one is Dr. Lee frowns.
It stinks.
What is going on? What is going on?
Episode 90, Submission 1400, Golden Balls. Golden Balls aired on ITV from June 18th, 2007 to December 18th, 2009 for a total of 6 seasons of 289 episodes.
Today's players have all been truthful.
I'm just begging you, please give me that chance.
They've all been trusted.
What I'll do, I'll just prove that you're lying. Now.
And they've all been stolen from.
Ashley, you like the sound of your own voice.
Will history repeat itself? Let's find out. It's Golden Ball. It's time for Golden Balls, where once again there's a fortune waiting to be won or lost. And today, 4 returning players looking to bluff their way to the big money.
Well, guys, it's come to this. Balls.
Balls?
Balls.
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 Balls. It's a show about balls.
Isn't that right, Jeff Peterson?
Balls! Yeah, balls! Balls!
In your pants.
Isn't that right, Way William Johnson?
Balls! I'm just saying.
Not just any balls. Golden balls.
Golden balls.
Golden balls. Balls of gold. 100 of them, to be precise. In a sort of tumbling... It's in a sort of a number tumbler thing.
Well, you know what it reminds me of, and this is a very accurate observation.
I know what it reminds you of.
It reminds me of the ball cage they used on future installment Caesar's Challenge.
Yes, sir!
Yeah, except you don't have like a centurion.
No, you have Amanda Grant. But she's not the star of the show. She's simply the model of the show. The star of the show is one Jasper Carrot, a.k.a. Robert Norman Davis. He's very matter-of-fact on this show. He simply, first thing you need to understand is he says balls a lot. And he also says gold a lot. But the rules of this game are, and they're very simple, keep the cash, knock out the killers. That's just good life advice, by the way. That's it. Good night. No.
Well, there's a little bit more to that.
Yeah, there is a nuance. There's a nuance. We talked about the cage of 100 balls. They call that the Golden Bank. 12 balls from the Golden Bank are put into play. Those balls are going to be with 4 players for the rest of the game.
We should also add, well, not necessarily through the rest of the game, because if you get knocked out, which we'll get to in a little bit, that money goes bye-bye too.
Yeah.
But also we should add that the balls range, I'm sorry, not just the balls, the golden balls.
The golden balls.
We need to emphasize that, the golden balls. They range in value from £10 all the way up to £75,000. So there's potential for big money in this, especially for a daytime game show. And it happened a few times where the money got really, really serious.
6 figures if you do it right.
Oh, yeah, at least I've seen 6 figures, but It was, well, it was not uncommon to see values upwards of 20,000 pounds, but also at the same time, if you have bad luck, which we'll talk about in a little bit, you could be playing for 10 pounds or less.
Okay.
But,
But
but in addition to the 12 random money balls, they're all randomly selected, again, sort of like the letters on Caesar's challenge. There are 4 killer balls put into play.
You don't want the killer ball. You do
Yeah,
not.
the killer
want
balls are not good. You want money.
Yes.
And what happens is each of the 4 players is given 4 balls randomly through some sort of spinning device that sort of separates them and drops off the balls in their home areas, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
What then happens is the contestants put the balls on 4 pedestals in front of them, arranged 2 in the front row, 2 in the back row. And then they can take a look to see what the values are of all 4 balls. Because what's going to happen is your front 2 balls are going to be revealed. Boy, I had to watch how I say that. But yeah, your 2 front golden balls are then revealed, the values for everybody to see on an individual basis.
So
And
you're
then,
saying that you get to show off 2 of your balls.
2 of your golden balls, yes. Oh, this is not going to be full of double entendres, folks. No, just telling you that right now. Nope.
Nope.
But yeah, you show off the values of 2 of your balls, the 2 in the front row, and then the back 2, you can either tell the truth or you can lie. So this, it depends how you want to play the game.
And that's important because after a, shall we say, spirited discussion, just short of somebody throwing la chancla, y'all know what I'm talking about, you're going to have to vote out who you think has the killers.
Yeah, that's the big thing, is you want to get rid of the killers, or if you don't get rid of the killers, at least get rid of the low values. Get rid of the 10 pounds, 20 pounds, 50 pounds.
Keep the big money in, and you knock out the killers.
Yeah, and the thing is, if you don't get rid of the killers in the first round, it's fine. We'll talk about that in a little bit. And so it's just basically a vote of the 4 contestants. They say, okay, who do you think should be voted off? And whoever gets most of the votes, either 3 votes or 2 votes, gets the boot. And then before they go, they need to show what was on their balls. The golden balls, people. You know what I'm talking about.
People!
And so that sort of shows off whether you're being honest or not, because there are people who be brutally honest and say, okay, I've got a killer, but also at the same time, I've got 30,000 pounds. So there's a dilemma. Do you want to keep the person who's got a killer in the game, but also at the same point, they've got 30,000 pounds? So that's like a good and a bad. Usually, if you were honest and had a big value, they'd keep you. But since you can lie about your values, nothing's stopping you from saying, I've got a 12,000 pound ball and I've got a 15,000 pound ball. And then when you open it up, oh, there's a killer and there's 25 pounds. So you've got to do some detective work. You've got to call people's bluff. You've got to analyze them. And the thing is, sort of like, again, future installment, Dirty Rotten Cheaters, there's a round of interrogation. Well, I wouldn't even call it interrogation. It was almost like downright finger pointing. Okay, you're lying. Oh, I'm not lying. You know,
it's like I said, it's like one level shy of throwing la chancla.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes it really is.
They get down and dirty. They're straight up in the muck on this show.
Yeah. And so after the vote, whoever has the most votes is gone. And if it's tied, the 2 contestants who are not up for being booted, they get to pick who gets the boot.
Yeah. And if there's a four-way tie, then the first three to reach an agreement on who should be eliminated advances to the next round. Like, it's almost a game of, not it.
No, this is almost sort of sounds like the middle round of the U.S. version of Divided.
Yeah.
Where you need three people to boot somebody out.
So everybody left reveals what was on their balls. Their golden balls. Then the balls are placed back into the spinner, and two more balls are added from the golden bank, and one more killer ball is also added, bringing the total amount of balls to 15. Each player gets 5 balls, 2 in front, 3 behind. And like before, they have to reveal what was in the front line of balls.
And the key to this round is a good memory, because since we're putting 2 new balls into play, well, no, we're not just putting 2 new balls into play.
We're putting 3 balls.
We're putting 3 balls because you also add another killer into the mix.
Full count.
So yeah, there's another killer and 2 more money balls in the mix. And a good memory helps here, because if you remember what values moved on from the first round, that gives you a sense of credibility. Because if you say in the back row you've got, okay, I've got the biggest ball from round 1, and then, I've got 2 new balls because I don't remember what was played in the first round or what made it over to round 2, that sort of gives you, either you're very lucky by getting the 2 random balls, or you just have a bad strategy and bad memory.
Yep.
And the thing is, being honest here really is the best policy to get you into the final. And again, there's killers in play, at least 1, but conceivably
there's always
there
at least 1.
Yeah. Killers. And that's another thing that actually Jasper keeps track of. Just when people say what they have is, we've got 3 people who say that there's 4 killers out there, but only 3 are in the game. 2 made it from the last round, and then the 1 that was added. So somebody's clearly lying. Or actually, it's usually the other way around, where nobody admits to killers, and or rarely admits to killers. The number of killers that are declared is actually less than what's in the game, because again, you want to pretend, hey, I've got all this money, I don't have killers, I'm safe going into the next round, when that may not actually be the case.
First of all, the lesson here is, don't try and get one up on Jasper. He knows more than you think.
Well, also, don't try getting one up on the contestants. Have a good memory, remember what's been played, and don't just pull out of your butt in round 2, I've got a 60,000-pound ball, when maybe there's not a 60,000-pound ball in play. And also that's a little far-fetched that you have that ball when there's so many middling values. There's 1,000 pounds, 1,500 pounds, 3,000 pounds. Don't bite off more than you can chew, essentially.
Yeah. After the ceremonial throwing of La Chancla, we get another vote. This time the vote to eliminate is 2, obviously, because there are 3 players. But if there's a 3-way tie, we have another one of those not it sort of votes. And of course, whoever has the most votes is eliminated. They bin all of their balls, but not before going through the indignity of showing what they have.
Yeah, showing if they're telling the truth or if they're full of what.
Balls. If they're full of balls.
Balls.
Okay, that's fair.
Like, who's talking out of their balls and who's just talking? And the final 2 are going on to the final round, which is called Bin or Win. But not before Amanda adds 1 more killer.
So conceivably, there could be 6 killers in play. And if there's 6 killers in play, well, number 1, you have bad judgment skills on other people, whether they're telling the truth or not. But 2, the more killers you bring into this game, the more likely you're not going to win a whole ton of money. And the reason why is, in this round, the 11 balls are placed on a platform of sorts, like a table, and brought to the two contestants on opposite ends of a table. And they get to alternate picking one ball at a time. They're all still closed. And the idea is the first ball that's picked gets binned, which means essentially thrown away, discarded. The second ball the person chooses is a win ball, which means that constitutes how much you're going to play for in the final round, which we'll get to in a little bit. So player one picks one ball to bin, then a ball to win for their final prize. Player two does the same, picks one to bin, picks one to win. Player one then does it a third time. Player two does it a fourth time. Player one then does it a fifth time. So you end up with 5 balls binned and 5 balls won. And then also you have 1 ball that doesn't make it. So the optimal strategy, which obviously is just pure luck, is you want to bin the killers and you want to win the big money.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what happens if you win a killer? Well, there's a reason why it's called a killer. Your bank drops by 90%.
It is literally decimated.
Yeah, literally decimated. Move that decimal 1 space to the left. That's the effect of a killer.
Yep.
So the thing is, if you can't get rid of your killers, or if you have too many killers and they end up showing up, you may take your 1,000 pounds. Oh, there's a killer. You go down to 100 pounds. Oh, there's another killer. You go down to 10 pounds. Oh, there's another killer. You go down to 1 pound. So you can see how this really could kill your bank if you make some unlucky decisions.
Yeah,
but also,
let's just say you have the $75,000 pound ball. You find 4 killers after that. You're playing for £7.50.
Yeah, and also luck can be on your side, because if you've been at the right time, get rid of those killers, you could have a clean board.
Oh, but yes.
I did the stats on this, the probability years ago. I forget the exact number, but the probability of getting a perfect round in terms of getting the 5 highest values was something like 1 in 320. It wasn't astronomical. It was very doable, and I'm sure it's happened probably at least once or twice on the show. So it's something that can happen. But also, like I said earlier, yeah, there's a possibility you might end up with £1.50 or 10 pounds, especially if, the stuff that you win are killers and 10 pounds, 15 pounds, 20 pounds. So, yeah, there's a lot of luck involved here. And the order that you pick the balls, that you win the balls, is important, because whatever you get is automatically added or deducted to your total. So if you start off with, say, a 50,000 pound ball, good job. But if then your next ball you win is a killer, you're down to 5,000. And then the next ball you win is another killer, you go down to 500, and then, so on and so forth. So whatever your running total is after 5 balls, that's what you take to the final round. And the final round is something that's been used maybe a little too much on different shows, except they didn't use the name you may be used to. They called it split or steal. It's basically another way of saying, hey, here's the prisoner's dilemma. Hey, it's friend or foe. Are you a friend or are you a foe?
Okay. So both contestants are given 2 balls. 2 final balls. So both contestants have 2 balls in front of them. One says split, and the other says steal. They confirm in secret that they have a ball that says split and a ball that says steal. And after, hemming and hawing over whether or not they should share the money or take it all for themselves, they choose one of the balls. If the balls chosen, one on each side, say split, they split the bank and go home with an equal share of the money. if one says split and the other says steal, the person who chose steal takes the whole lot. If one says steal and the other say steal, then we're going to have to hide the chanclas because they're going to be throwing them at each other. Because nobody goes home with anything. That doesn't sound familiar at all.
Yeah. As we said, it's been done numerous times on shows like Shafted and Divided, kind of, sort of, even though that's more of a three-way split and you got to pick your share. But like we said, it's been on Friend or Foe. That would be the most familiar title to people on the American side of the Atlantic. But now there's more to this game, and I found this interesting. If you look at the game itself, not only is it a giant game of luck and probability, but also it gets into how people think and how people play under those circumstances. You know, do they lie? Do they say they're going to split when they're actually going to steal? And some interesting stuff that actually economists determined regarding the decisions. I mean, when it comes to the prisoner's dilemma and situations like this, like game theory and stuff, definitely you want to go to economists. They know this stuff inside and out. And also, obviously, social scientists looked at this as like a big experiment as well. So they went beyond the numbers and looked at how people played the game. So players, on average, they chose split 53% of the time, which I think is a surprising number. I mean, that shows how trusting people are. More people chose split than steal, which I think is very telling. Because I'm not going to lie, if I go on the show, I'm going steal because, you know, steal is going to beat split every time. And you better have a ton of faith that your partner is going to say, well, it does make a difference. I mean, whether they say split or steal, you're either going home with everything or nothing. If you play split, yeah, you're hoping that your opponent plays split as well. But, you know, given this is a game of deception and there's a little bit of lying involved, you got to look back at the person's history in the game. If they've been honest throughout the course of the game, they're probably going to be honest in the end game. If you've got the person who said, "Oh, I've got the 75,000-pound ball," and they didn't bring the 75,000-pound ball, I wouldn't be all that trusting of them.
Interesting you mentioned about that sort of thing. According to that same study, young men are more likely to pick steal than young women. But at the same time, older men are more likely to pick split than younger men. So it's like the older you get, the more trusting you become. And that is about this, and that's about the opposite of what happens when you're a female. So I just think that's pretty interesting.
The older you get, the more I'm calling BS on that.
Well, I was going to say, is it necessarily trusting or is it gullibility?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, think about it. If you are an older man and you're going up against a younger woman, you know, men's minds tend to go in different directions, you know, with a beautiful woman involved or a beautiful young woman involved.
Once they get their balls involved, then it becomes a problem.
Another mention of balls. But yeah, you're not wrong, though, about that. So I can understand, you know, where older men might be more gullible or maybe fall in that trap, and then a young lady says, "Oh, no, you're not going home with anything, Pops."
So over the course of the show, it sort of became, I don't want to say appointment television, but it became really popular until it just fell off sometime in the summer of 2009. I couldn't tell you what in the world happens then, but it just, one of these days, I guess the universal answer is, yeah, they poured all of their money into it, tapped out their key demographic, and tapped out. Too long didn't read version. Everybody got sick of it.
More or less, yeah. It happens. I mean, there's been plenty of shows that we've seen have started like a house on fire, and then after a year or two, it's like, this is like the same old.
Yeah, after a year or two, I'm like, I can only see so many psychopaths on my television during high tea.
And just remember some of the names of TV shows that have gone through that. I mean, one of them is coming back next month in form of The Weakest Link. Oh, that was the biggest thing in 2001, but it was off of network television by 2002, and then there was a year in syndication. But that went as soon as it came, essentially. It was here, and there was so much promotion going around. It was a house on fire for a year or so, and then
it burned.
We're not going to watch because the likelihood of anybody winning anywhere near $1 million is nothing.
True, and the same can be said here. It's not so much about the player's fault; it's just one of the mechanics of the game. Yes, you can pick a 75,000-pound ball and then a 25,000-pound ball, and you'd have a bank of 100,000 pounds. Pick 3 killers, that's down to 100.
In addition, and this shows how popular this show was, there wasn't just a board game. There was a DS game, and there was a Wii game. And I've played on an emulator the DS version, and oh my gosh, that might as well be a game that'll be brought up in the next video game show. That is a bad video game. Even as like a probability experiment, it was bad. It was bad. Now, maybe it's because, excuse the phrase, you don't have balls in your hand.
Oh, my God.
Well, but, okay, but seriously, okay, okay, I'm bringing out the props.
Okay.
You don't have tangible, okay, these are dice, but still, you don't have the
Those
props
are
in
not
your hand.
balls.
These look like balls.
Oh, put your balls away, Mike! Oh my God!
Another reason why this should be a video podcast.
And so, yeah, you don't have tangible props. These may be dice, 120-sided dice, which...
they make those? Oh my God!
I've got 2 of them, yeah.
There's such 120-sided dice, you don't even see part of the thing.
Hey, laugh now, Greg, but if you ever find yourself in a situation where you have 120 options and you need something to decide it...
When am I ever going to need 120 options for something?
Anyway.
Well, okay. Now, remember, 120 is divisible by a bunch of numbers. 12 and 10 and 3. Not that you need 40 options for something, but, I mean, if you had, like, 3 options, well, 1 through 40 could be option 1, 41 through 80 could be option 2, and 81 through 120 could be option 3. But we're getting off track. The point is, you don't have a tangible object in your hands. You're making a selection on a video screen, on a DS screen. So, but at least in the board game, they actually did have. Oh God, I can't believe I'm saying
balls.
Go ahead, say it.
They had tiny balls. Yes.
Tiny balls.
The board game had tiny balls.
Be quiet. Greg's singing "Tiny Balls" like tiny bubbles.
Tiny balls in the rain.
The champagne's on Corbell.
Thanks,
Great
Bono.
big balls. Huge, disgusting, artificially injected balls.
Oh my.
I think that was Alan Thicke there that said that.
No, it was George Takei, dummy.
It sounded like you're Alan Thicke.
Okay.
Well, you know how I'm going to say this?
Don't make me call Alan.
Oh, no.
He's still upset.
No.
Mike, he's told me he's very upset by your terrible rendition of the Wizard of Oz theme.
Oh, no.
Weeks ago.
Oh, no.
Okay, you know how I'm going to save this?
What?
It's time for eBay prices right.
Oh,
jeez.
boy.
No.
Would you rather me do my version of Wizard of Oz?
It's time for eBay prices right.
Now, I'm picking at random. There's actually, it looks like 9 finished auctions of Golden Balls Wii games.
Oh,
And I'm
Jesus.
going to roll the 120 doesn't go into 9 evenly, but I'll figure out something. Whatever
It's
the
like, you want
second
to play
digit
with
is.
your balls on your Wii? What?
I couldn't even play it on my Wii since it's not even region free.
Yeah, you can't play it on your Wii because it is not region free. Okay, so I'm going to pick, that one. So we're bidding on a copy of Golden Balls. This sold on eBay on July 2nd of this year. It's from Rossendale, UK. We're going to bid in American dollars, okay? So don't give me British pounds. It's already been converted automatically by eBay.
Cool.
This is like new.
Like new.
So it's probably had some little bit of use. It's not factory sealed. So like new from a smoke and pet-free home. Well, too bad you don't have any pets because pets are good. Isn't that right, Banoodles? Okay, we'll see if he
Pets
comes.
are awesome.
Pets are very awesome.
Okay.
So again, we're going to do dollars and cents converted from British pounds. And I think I started with Greg last time, so I'm going to start with Chico.
So it's a Wii game.
It's a Wii game, not Wii U. Yeah, it's a Wii game, original
Okay.
Wii.
I'm gonna go, and because it's not rare, I don't think. So I'm gonna go with $20.
Well, remember it's on that side of the Atlantic.
Oh,
so...
in that case, $60.
Okay, Greg.
$5.
Believe it or not, you've both overbid.
What?
What?
So we'll start the bidding. The low bid was
Low bid was $5.
Was $5. Yes. So you need to bid under $5, Chico.
I need a bid under $5. $4.20, because if you buy this game, you are obviously smoking something.
Smoke them if you got them. Greg.
$4.21.
And you're still over.
Are you freaking kidding me?
Go lower than $4.20.
99 cents. I'm like, fuck it, 99 cents.
Greg?
$1, Bob.
I knew that was coming. I knew that was
when
coming.
He said 99 cents, it set me up.
Well,
yeah. Well, guys, you heard I didn't say y'all overbid again, so it was at least $1. Well, if you want to buy this copy of Golden Balls for the Wii, it's going to cost you $2.64.
Oh,
wow, you got robbed.
Well, hold on, but there's a huge catch.
What's the cat? The shipping.
And somebody actually still bought this. The shipping was £29.53.
Yeesh.
Which converts to almost $39.
Wow.
For that price, you could just get you a VPN, order it off Amazon, gently used.
Yeah, well, but also remember, this isn't even compatible with US NTSC versions of the Wii. So you need to have a PAL version.
Or you need to have a hacked region-free version.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I was
but
just about to say.
Yeah, but the likelihood of that is pretty low. So yeah, if you had $2.64. Actually, I'm sorry, eBay converted the shipping differently than I did. $40.89 to ship.
Wow.
Uh-huh.
And taking a look, that's actually, it looks like the highest shipping of any of these. Oh no, there's one that's 4136 to ship.
Okay.
But then there's some that are 528. I'm guessing that's for UK only.
Mm-hmm.
21.99, 2203, 790. So, yeah, if you have about $45 sitting around, you can get a copy of this. But again, I mean, unless you're a big fan and you have a PAL version of the Wii,
I wouldn't even bother with it.
don't waste your money.
Okay.
Go get an emulator, a DS emulator. Get Golden Balls for the DS. Play it. Do like I did. Remove it from your emulator after one game and wipe your hands clean. Or actually, what it may even be a cheaper option is just order the home game.
Okay.
And no, we're not going to play eBay prices right for the home game.
No.
No, but-
Well, if we did that, then we wouldn't have time for what I just sent you. This is, without a doubt, the weirdest Splitter Steel ever.
And we're going to link this because I've seen this in the past. This was absolutely bizarre.
Yeah.
Absolutely bizarre.
This is going to, and you could, it's like, you could look into his, this is one of those things where it's like, I wish this was a video podcast, because you can look into his eyes. He's got the psycho eyes.
Oh, he's got crazy eyes. You better
He's got
believe it.
crazy eyes.
But yeah, we're definitely going to link this in the episode description so you can see this.
It has to be seen to be believed.
This is amazing. It really is. This could have easily backfired on him. I'm not giving any spoilers. I want you guys to see the video. It's had a ton of views on YouTube. As of right now, it's at 10.5 million views for a Golden Balls clip. How about that?
10.5 million for a show that not many people in America have seen. Although, and we like to talk about these things before the show, but I told Mike and Greg, this could work if it were on Netflix. Because, A, people would actually pay to watch this crap, and B, no reason to constrict it with those pesky commercials. Even though it was on ITV and it did air in it did air commercials.
But also, I think another thing is C, given some of the shows that Netflix has had in terms of prize money being offered, this is relatively tame. I mean, yeah, there's a possibility you can give away, let's say, $100,000 or $50,000. But on an average day, it seemed like, they give away at most maybe $5,000, $10,000. And again, remember, you need to have somebody say split, because if they both pick steel, nobody's winning anything.
Yep.
So that'll keep the budget down too, because that when there's big money at stake, greed gets into play. Oh, I want to take the entire pot instead of half of $100,000.
Mm-hmm.
So it is a very psychological game. Like I said, I like it. I know Greg and Chico don't like it necessarily.
No, I do
Nope.
not like it at all.
No, sir, I don't like it.
Well, again, I'm looking at it from the mathematical and psychological perspectives, human nature and stuff like that. And I think it's absolutely fascinating.
Well, I have a problem with a game that you can do everything perfectly perfect and still lose.
Understandable, understandable, and that now that's another dilemma that just popped in my mind. Boy, that's a great case for not liking it, because if you're totally honest, maybe even honest to a fault, yes, you'll say, "Oh, I'm going to share it because I'm a nice guy. I haven't lied to you the whole show," and you tell that to the other person, he or she could easily be like, "Okay, well, you know what? I'll share too because you've been honest with me the entire game, and I've been honest with you." And then all it takes is one act of deception, and your 50% stake in the winning is now gone. So I could definitely see why you might not like it for that reason.
Mm-hmm. Now, I don't know why Greg doesn't like it, but I'm sure his reasons are valid.
It was just a boring show to me. I mean, the gimmick, the whole joke is, oh, it's balls. They're picking balls. And
Balls.
yeah, And then afterwards, it's just like, it's like they talked it out, and it's like
They're talking out the balls.
they're talking out the balls, and it's like there's no fun to this whatsoever.
They like talking about balls.
They're talking about balls. It's not fun. It's not fun to watch at all.
Well,
There's
again,
there's
your
no
mileage may
playability.
vary.
There's no playability to it either. That's
No.
another thing.
Well, there's no interactivity. That's not a bad point at all. Because
Yeah.
how much fun is it watching people open up balls? Oh my gosh! Oh god! This is going to be rated X by the end of the show. But yeah, how much fun is it seeing people open balls and show? Oh, I got 15 pounds. Oh, I got 75 pounds. You don't have a vested interest or a stake in the game. I'm sure ITV did some sort of interactive game because it seems like every game show, especially British, at that time would have, you can win 1,000 pounds by picking the right box on Deal or No Deal, or you can win 10,000 pounds by playing a more recent game like 5 Gold Rings at home. So I'm sure there was some lure. Okay, you can win 5,000 pounds by, picking which one of these is the 5,000 pound ball or whatever.
Didn't NBC sort of have like a play along thing with Deal or No Deal?
Oh yeah, I was just thinking
absolutely,
about that.
yes.
I was just thinking about that.
Yes, and also 1 versus 100 had a play along game too. So it's not uncommon, and that's usually the lure is, okay, yeah, this is a boring game. There's no interactivity, but hey, you have a 1 in 100,000 chance of winning 5,000 pounds, and conceivably it could be a free entry. I mean, usually they charge you for text entries or SMS entries, but usually they say if you go online to our website, you can get 1 entry for free. So
you can.
So there's a draw there, but no, I understand the interactivity. That's a very valid point, because that's sort of like, it's almost like if you go to a casino and you're watching an old lady play slots. Well, what fun is it? She's not going to give you anything if she wins. It's more fun to actually partake in the game. Put your dollar in the slot or however much money you want to play, and pull the handle.
Mm-hmm.
Sort of the same thing. I absolutely understand where you're coming from. But again, that's the difference between you and me. You're not interested since you can't have any sort of vested interest.
I have no vested interest
necessarily
in this game. Yeah.
Yeah, but also at the same point, I look at it from the point of view of, oh my gosh, this is like a probability. Oh God, forget this term because all the balls we're talking about. This is like a probability wet dream. Okay, let me rephrase that. This is like a master's course in probability. Just all the odds, and then you've got the psychological factors coming into play. I think this is brilliant for that reason, but again, I'm not going to disagree with your opinion because it's your opinion, but you're absolutely right. No play-along factor definitely can bore you out.
Yeah, there's no play-along. There's no play-along. And the prisoner's dilemma is always a sour point as far as I'm concerned, at least as used in game shows. Future installment, Take It All. I'm looking at you.
Yeah, it just seems sort of like a bit of a cop-out using the prisoner's dilemma. There's got to be a better way, but what that way is, I don't know, and I'm not going to speculate because we've got to end the show.
Yeah. I'm going to steal. Well, Mike liked it, but for Greg and me, golden balls. It's just a thing on TV with balls.
Balls.
Hey, it's not my fault that 2 out of the 3 of us are wrong.
Balls.
Balls. Golden balls. You know what? But you know what else has balls?
Oh. It was a thing on TV.com.
Yeah, huh?
Huh?
More about the show, more about us, all the past episodes, and our social feeds.
Oh, yeah.
Like, comment, subscribe, share because sharing is caring. 5 stars, we accept nothing less.
Yeah, come on, give us some of the 5-star reviews. It's like We've been like what in a drought of 5-star reviews. Like
We've been
seriously,
in a drought of reviews. Yeah.
yeah.
Yep.
If you can write a review, like just a review, like you could be like one sentence. As long as you give us 5 stars and you write a review, we'll give you something.
Our gratitude. That's what we'll give you.
Or gratitude, yeah.
Yeah, and again, none of that 4-star stuff. You know you love us. And I'm going to even call out my girlfriend. Laura, I know you're listening to this. You could just put a review on there and say, I'm doing this because my boyfriend told me to.
Yeah.
Exactly. Well, until next week. Well, I know Greg has been dying to do the first episode next week.
Oh,
It looks like Greg's been dying to do both of them.
both of them, but the first episode, I was thinking if one episode of this show shows up online somewhere, we're gonna do it, and it did.
Yeah, it happened maybe about a month ago or so.
Oh yeah,
and not only that, but one of the people in this show is someone who's been featured in a previous entry.
Oh boy, that narrows it down to about 1,500 people.
Yes, it's down to 1,500 people. Man, yeah, it's gonna be. Yeah, but I'll say this person is very heavenly, if I may say so.
Oh no! See, me and Chico know what he's saying,
Yeah.
and if you've been on, and if you've listened to this podcast long enough, you know what Greg is saying.
You, as Chico would say, why don't you just say the name?
why don't you just tell them what we're doing?
Yeah, telegraph it a little more there, Greg. But the second episode, this is something, again, we've sort of wanted to cover for a little while, and it's, again, another timely episode, given what will be happening around that time.
What may or may not be happening around that time.
Well, hopefully May. We'll put a positive twist on it. And this is another one that Greg and I vividly remember from back in the day.
Oh, this was so painful to watch. I remember.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
I'll tell you what. I'll tell you what. This was so terrible. I walked out of my own room.
Yeah.
And it's terrible not because of who was involved, more than the situation that happened.
What was involved?
What was
more
involved?
Or less.
What was involved, and what one of the participants was in that particular instance.
Yeah.
Yeah. But we'll talk about that next week. So as always, from us three, thank you for listening. And we will talk to you next week when we'll have 2 new installments of It Was a Thing on TV.
Wow! You know what I had to say after watching Golden Balls, guys?
What's that?